Imagine waking up in agony. You're not home, you're a prisoner. Your captor? Not a monster, but your #1 fan. This is the terrifying reality for Paul Sheldon in Stephen King's Misery. King masterfully crafts a story that is both horrifying and suspenseful. He traps his protagonist and by extension the reader in a nightmare that feels all too real. Paul Sheldon, a successful novelist, crashes his car on a snowy mountain road. He is rescued, not by paramedics but by Annie Wilkes, a former nurse who claims to be his biggest fan. Initially Paul is relieved, but his relief soon turns to terror as Annie's true nature is revealed. She holds him captive, forcing him to write a manuscript to her liking. Misery is not a story of ghosts or demons. It's a chilling exploration of the darkness that can reside within the human heart. King masterfully uses suspense, psychological manipulation and graphic violence to create a truly terrifying reading experience. The novel is a slow burn, building tension gradually until it reaches a fever pitch. Just when you think it can't get any worse, King ratchets up the horror, leaving you breathless and terrified to turn the page. Annie Wilkes, the novel's antagonist, is a character study in obsession and delusion. She is obsessed with Paul's novels, particularly his Victorian-era romance series featuring the character Misery Chastain. Annie's obsession with Misery borders on religious fervor, and she sees Paul as a conduit to this fictional world. When Paul tries to assert his independence or deviates from her expectations, Annie reacts with terrifying rage. She subjects him to both physical and psychological torture, keeping him drugged and dependent on her for survival. Annie's mood swings are unpredictable, shifting from childlike glee to murderous fury in an instant. Her love for Paul is possessive and suffocating. She wants to keep him all to herself, even if it means breaking him both physically and mentally. This twisted love story forms the core of Misery, making it a chilling exploration of the dark side of fandom and the destructive nature of obsession. What sets Misery apart from other horror novels is its focus on psychological terror. King understands that the most terrifying monsters are often human. He uses Annie's mental instability to create a constant sense of dread and uncertainty. The reader is never sure what Annie will do next, and this unpredictability is terrifying. King also explores the psychological effects of captivity and isolation on Paul. As Paul is held prisoner, he begins to lose his grip on reality. He experiences hallucinations, nightmares, and a growing sense of hopelessness. The reader experiences this descent into madness alongside Paul, making the horror all the more effective. King masterfully uses vivid imagery and visceral descriptions to convey the physical and emotional pain Paul endures. The reader can almost feel the pain of Paul's broken body and the crushing weight of his despair. This unflinching portrayal of suffering is a hallmark of King's writing and is a major factor in the novel's enduring power. Section 4. Paul Sheldon and Annie Wilkes, a deadly game of cat and mouse. The relationship between Paul and Annie is central to the novel's impact. It's a twisted game of cat and mouse, with Annie holding all the cards. Paul, initially helpless, gradually begins to use his cunning and his writing to manipulate Annie. He plays on her obsession with Misery Chastain, feeding her storylines to appease her and buy himself time. Paul's struggle for survival becomes a battle of wits. He must outsmart his captor while appearing compliant, all the while enduring unimaginable pain and terror. This constant tension, this dance between captor and captive, keeps the reader on the edge of their seat. Despite the horrifying circumstances, Paul's will to live never wavers. He clings to the hope of escape, even when it seems impossible. This indomitable spirit, this refusal to be broken, makes Paul a compelling and relatable protagonist, even as he descends into the darkest recesses of human experience. Section 5. Isolation's grip, amplifying fear and madness. The setting of Misery plays a crucial role in heightening the horror. Paul is isolated in Annie's remote farmhouse, cut off from the outside world. The snow and the isolation create a sense of claustrophobia, trapping Paul both physically and mentally with his tormentor. This isolation amplifies Paul's fear and desperation. He has no one to turn to, no one to hear his screams. The reader experiences this isolation alongside Paul, feeling the walls closing in as Annie's madness escalates. The farmhouse becomes a character in itself, a silent witness to the horror unfolding within its walls. King uses the setting to create a palpable sense of dread. The reader can almost feel the oppressive silence of the snow-covered landscape, the chilling wind whistling through the cracks in the walls. This masterful use of setting transforms Misery from a simple story of captivity into a claustrophobic nightmare from which there is no escape. Section 6. The Enduring Legacy of Misery, a landmark in horror. Misery is more than just a horror novel, it's a chilling exploration of obsession, madness, and the power of the human will to survive. It cemented Stephen King's place as a master of horror, showcasing his ability to terrify readers with psychological depth and unsettling realism. The novel's impact on popular culture is undeniable. The image of Annie Wilkes with her terrifying smile and her sledgehammer has become iconic in horror cinema. The novel has been adapted into a critically acclaimed film and a Broadway play, further solidifying its place in the annals of horror. Misery continues to resonate with readers today because it taps into our deepest fears. The fear of being trapped, the fear of losing control, and the fear of the darkness that lies within ourselves. It is a testament to the power of storytelling and the enduring legacy of a master at work.